Hello, this is lawyer Moon Jong-Tak from Moon Jong-Tak TV. In the last video, there was a provisional injunction filed by Ador against NewJeans, right? I mentioned that the injunction to confirm the exclusive contract and to prevent NewJeans from independently engaging in activities like NJZ was fully granted. At that time, I predicted the approval and explained the reasons, and the timing was just right, wasn't it? I've also uploaded English and Japanese versions, so please refer to them. Today, even though NewJeans lost a provisional injunction decision, they criticized the Korean entertainment industry in Time magazine, and it was Sunday, March 23, wasn't it? They went ahead and performed with End Rage in Hong Kong, and then declared they wouldn't be active in New Zealand anymore, essentially saying do whatever you want. At this point, they're really going off the rails. I'll summarize these reckless actions and share my opinion. First, as I explained in detail last time, the video surpassed 50,000 views. And I'm truly grateful. To briefly summarize, the court found that Ador did not significantly breach the exclusive contract, and it was hard to see that the trust relationship had broken down. What could be going on? Yes, so Ador fulfilled their contractual obligations, but it was the New Zealand side that unilaterally terminated the contract and notified them, making it difficult for Ador to carry out their legitimate management duties. Therefore, until the main judgment determines whether this termination is valid or not, there is a need to prohibit NewJeans' exclusive activities. This decision restricts all business activities of the NewJeans members as artists. The injunction decision implies that NewJeans was at fault, and in fact, Ador did nothing wrong. It's like saying, NewJeans, don't act out. To put it simply, but what did NewJeans do right after the injunction decision was made? On March 20th, they went to Hong Kong for ComplexCon. It's quite complex, right? On stage, they revealed a new song called Pit Stop, and they danced and sang. Pit Stop refers to the F1 Formula races, where cars zoom around. It's also been announced that they will star in Grand Prix in the first half of this year, with the movie set to be released soon, which is exciting. Anyway, a pit stop is when a racing car is zooming around, and it quickly gets serviced and then immediately takes off again because time is of the essence. So in the case of a pit stop, you get a quick checkup, and then whoosh, back to racing. That brief pause for a checkup before racing is called a pit stop. This means that while we take a short break, it symbolizes that we will run forward again. The issue is that they performed not under the name NewJeans, but under the name NJZ. So, the LED background, the introduction by the organizers, and even the merchandise sales were all done under the name NJZ. They blatantly ignored the court's decision. Even the fans were cheering, saying NJZ instead of NewJeans. The stage members didn't directly say, "We are NJZ," as that would be a complete change. So they only introduced themselves without directly mentioning NJZ. Since all the tickets were already sold, the agency claims they were trying to help NewJeans. So they urgently dispatched staff to Hong Kong, but they didn't meet the members. And at the end of the performance, NewJeans said this might be the last stage for a while. We have decided to stop our activities according to the court's decision. It's not an easy decision, but it's a necessary one for us. They don't say, NewJeans never die, NJZ never die. This is not it. They said it's the last stage, and they won't be active anymore. There has been no such statement made or agreed upon, so it's completely baffling. The Hong Kong performance was pre-scheduled. So if they cancel it, they might have to pay a huge penalty to the organizers. They might have calculated that it's better to just go ahead with it, but even that performance itself completely goes against the injunction decision. So it's like, oh, these guys are just going ahead, even if they're banned from activities. It will obviously leave a bad impression. There's a high possibility that it will negatively affect the court's judgment as well. The acceptance of the injunction is based on the premise that the exclusive contract between Ador and NewJeans is valid. However, if Ador doesn't comply, and acts independently as NJS, it becomes NewJeans who are breaching the contract. By exposing the NJS name, and even selling merchandise under the NJS name, NewJeans becomes the party violating the contract in the confirmation of the exclusive contract, which will be very disadvantageous for them. NewJeans stated that they respect the court's decision and have also filed an objection with the court, saying, "We object. This is it." I'm also an expert in injunctions. An objection is filed by the party opposing the decision to grant the injunction. In a lawsuit, this would be the defendant, but in the case of an injunction, they are referred to as the debtor, the person who has the obligation. The debtor can file an objection, and if the objection is dismissed, they can then appeal to the High Court. Ultimately, they can file a reappeal to the Supreme Court. When I got the SBS I Want to Know That broadcast banned with an injunction, SBS filed objections and appeals continuously. It was good because I kept winning at each level and was reappointed. In practice, objections are almost never accepted. Why is that? If the court that just made the injunction decision were to immediately accept the objection, why would they have filed an objection to the injunction? For reference, I haven't checked how much the indirect compulsory fine is, but it pressures them not to violate by imposing a certain amount per day of violation, or per instance of violation. It means they are enforcing it indirectly. If there is any objection to this indirect enforcement, an immediate appeal must be filed within a week. This is not an objection application. Lawyers who are well versed in provisional dispositions would have filed objections, so please review the civil procedure and ensure that there is no dismissal due to not filing an immediate appeal against the indirect enforcement. Am I being too meddlesome? This case is more about factual issues rather than legal principles. It's not about proving that someone did wrong or that there is a reason for contract termination. In a trial, you would have witness examinations and evidence to prove things. But since provisional dispositions need to be done quickly, it's about providing a prima facie case. It's a lower level of proof, as I explained before. NewJeans couldn't even provide a prima facie case regarding the wrongdoing of Iodeo. Therefore, the claim that Iodeo did wrong and thus the contract should be terminated seems very unlikely to be accepted in the main trial. Previously, I compared this to divorce, where there is a fault-based system and a no-fault system. If it's broken down, regardless of who is at fault, just proceed with it. This is the no-fault system. The fault-based system is still in place in our country. In a fault-based system, the person who did wrong cannot initiate the divorce. But as I mentioned before, is there anything NewJeans can do when they are performing and such? They impose indirect enforcement and penalties, which they call financial therapy. You can't resolve it with penalties or money like that. You can't forcibly make someone perform by dragging them and saying, do it like this. In fact, since the trust relationship is broken down, it seems difficult to maintain the exclusive contract, but it looks like they will have to pay a huge amount in penalties. Now, if we were talking about the law until now, I used to work as a media teacher before. They say they did an interview with the Times as an example. Time is famous. The NewJeans members, during an interview with American Trends, said that Korea seems to be trying to make us into revolutionaries. Revolutionaries through a revolution. They are comparing their breach of contract and independent actions to a revolution, and they criticize the court's decision. In particular, a Vietnamese woman named Paman said there is a very proactive systemic problem in K-pop overall. Companies treat artists as products rather than humans, and she criticized the entire K-pop industry. Isn't it a bit off to criticize K-pop in this way? Especially when it gave a foreigner from Vietnam like Paman the opportunity to become a global star? I'm not sure if this is part of Vietnamese culture. What do you all think? Do you think domestic fans are unaware of what NewJeans said to Time? Or have they decided to abandon the domestic fans and only focus on international fans? First of all, NewJeans ignored their exclusive contract. Then, since the law didn't work, they went to the National Assembly for a parliamentary inspection. They are ignoring it. That doesn't work either, because people have standards. This time, they even went as far as criticizing K-pop in a Time interview. It is said that the fact NewJeans is lying was revealed through evidence submitted to the court by NewJeans' legal representative. Then they should take responsibility, or at least apologize for that. But now they are saying that K-pop itself is wrong. They are saying things like they need to become revolutionaries beyond being victims. What do you think? There is a case that is compared to NewJeans. It's BTS. Today I'm wearing purple, a purple scent. Is this indirect advertising or direct advertising? It's Lululemon. I've been doing Pilates lately, so I tried wearing Lululemon's purple. Why? Oh, am I talking about BTS? Even in the same foreign media interview, BTS's RM said this. Was it a journalist at that time? The interviewer asked this question. Isn't the secret to K-pop's dazzling success the dehumanization of artists? That's the kind of question they asked. RM said that there isn't much personal time, but that's what makes K-pop shine. He said it like this. If you don't work hard while maintaining harmony, the myth of K-pop wouldn't exist, right? Do you know what K stands for in Korean? Are you tired of the K vertical word? Regarding this question, he said that K is a premium label. It's not just national pride, but a fact. He mentioned that it's like a quality assurance mark earned through effort. We are a country that was invaded, devastated, and divided into two. Just 70 years ago, there was nothing, right? During the Korean War, everything was destroyed, and we were the poorest country in the world, weren't we? We were a UN peacekeeping nation, receiving help from organizations like the YMF to survive. But now, the whole world is paying attention to Korea. Of course, there are shadows, but everything that rises quickly and strongly has side effects. There are aspects that Western people cannot understand. That's what he said. Yes. Is it a wise answer to a foolish question? I acknowledge that there are issues with K-pop, but where there is light, there is also shadow. And above all, it's about understanding the history and context of K-pop, not just criticizing it, but speaking with pride and responsibility. Why do I compare them to BTS? BTS has worked hard since their trainee days when they had nothing, through blood, sweat, and tears, as Winston Church said. All I can give this time is blood, sweat, and tears. Through blood, sweat, and tears, they have elevated the status of K-pop to a global level. In contrast, NewJeans received the spotlight, even before their debut, with support and planning from one of the top major agencies. NewJeans appeared in the music video of the global top star BTS even before their debut. They were even promoted as BTS's sister group, riding on BTS's coattails through media play, right? NewJeans, a junior group that started with everything for the K-pop projects created by senior artists like BTS going outside and criticizing and belittling the K-pop they benefited from the most, is crossing a line, and seems like throwing dirt at BTS as well. I mentioned that without gratitude, one would only complain even in heaven. Of course, NewJeans members are individually pretty, dance well, and have talent, but is there any idol trainee without those qualities? Unlike BTS, who rose to fame through blood, sweat, and tears in a struggling agency, NewJeans was supported with 11 billion won from an invited agency, with top producers and planning teams, even a promotional team to boost them. Yet they criticized the K-pop system externally. What do you all think about this? Now let me conclude. Are the actions of NewJeans truly beneficial for them? Are they good for the members of NewJeans? The main lawsuit to confirm the exclusive contract in Korea begins on April the 3rd. Will it end in the second trial? If it drags on to the second and third trials, it could take several years. As I repeatedly say, what is the most important thing for a girl group? That's right, it's time. Life is made up of time, and time is finite. Especially youth is short, and I've mentioned this several times before. Seeing NewJeans already coming out in black clothes to court feels somewhat gloomy. That's my feeling. It's unfortunate because it seems like they are tainted by the secular world, and while NewJeans is involved in lawsuits damaging their image, much younger, fresher, female idols will continue to emerge, and the most important thing for a girl group, youth, will gradually fade away. These idols, who should be capturing people's attention and shining on stage, are choosing not to be active. Who is to blame for that? NewJeans' actions, as some people say, seem to be beneficial only to the individual member, Minji. If Minji's real mother is involved, shouldn't NewJeans members return to their original path, resume normal activities, and then, once their exclusive contract ends, collaborate with Minji again or join her plans, allowing them to continue their activities? The court is the one that made the provisional disposition decision. Judges are human too, so it's unlikely they would view Ms. Eugen's disregard for the court's decision favorably. In the last video, there were a lot of comments, which helped me reconsider and understand the content better. I would appreciate it if you could leave many comments on this video as well and share it widely. But this has been Attorney Moon Jong-Tak from Moon Jong-Tak TV. Thank you.